Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Now I have a question for you. Do you have any students that are having a hard time with being able to hear sounds? If so, this is a great video for you because we are going to be talking about basic phonological awareness activities you can do in your classroom. Hello everyone, my name is Adrian at First Thinkers, and on this channel we focus on skills, tips, and strategies that will make teachers' lives easier in K through 2. Now a great screener that I highly recommend if you want to find out where your student is on the phonological awareness section, so it starts from early, basic, and then advanced. The best test that I have found so far is the PAST test, which stands for Phonological Awareness Screening Test, which was developed by David Kilpatrick. And I'll put a link down below where you can download his assessment for free, and you can also learn how to administer it to your students. Now this has been a great assessment for me to have in my classroom because beforehand I didn't have a phonological screener that I could use for new students coming into my classroom. I had the core phonics to test their phonics, but not a phonological awareness test. And now this helps me identify where they're at and how I can help streamline them in their reading process. Now I'm going to go over 3 activities that you can use for students that are at the basic phonological awareness level. Now on this level we focus on students being able to hear all the phonemes in a word. So if I said the word cat, they could go k, at. And then I want them to be able to, if I say the word cat, I want them to be able to go k, at, cat. And then at the end, I want them to be able to go map it. So map it means we can show it with like a counter. At the end, I want them to be able to use graphemes. And so now I'll go over this once I go over each activity. But those are the big goal for the basic phonological awareness level is that they can hear all the sounds and that they can blend the words using graphemes. Now I will show you 3 different activities students can do to master the basic phonological awareness level. This first activity is using sound boxes. So what you would do, you would have students look at the card and you would model it for them first. This is the word cab. What's the word? Cab. All right, I'm going to sound out each sound I hear in the word cab. Listen to me. K, a, b. Now let's try it together. What's the word? Cab. Let's sound it out. K, a, b. Now I want you to try to do it on your own, and then you'd have them sound it out for each of those, okay? So, like, if let's pretend I was a student, they would go cab, k, a, b. Now you want to practice this for about a good week at least. I'd probably, even for your, like during small groups, if it's every day, depending on the student, it can take maybe more or less. And you want them to master this because the next activity that we're going to go to uses this. And each activity that we do, it builds upon each other. So they need to master the previous one. Now, when students have mastered sound boxes, the second activity you want them to do is tapping and blending. Now, the reason why we want them to be able to blend, even though that they may know what the word is because we tell them that the word is gab, we want them to be able to practice blending so that when they start seeing graphemes that they can blend out the sounds. They have that practice, because if you don't have that practice, students may start saying, like, maybe for the word gab, they'd go g, ab, bob. Okay, so they need to have that retention and they need that practice to be able to blend. So this is what this activity does. So what you would have students do, they would still use the sound boxes. So once again, this word's gab. Students would go gab, g, ab, gab. So they do like a continuous blend there. So by doing that, they get that practice that they need. They build that fluency with the blending that will help them so that when they start doing it with graphemes, it will make it much easier. So this is the second activity I would do if you're teaching basic phonological awareness skills. Now, something else you can do with tapping and blending to make it more engaging for students, you can use counters and a magnet. So what we're going to do is we're going to have students map it with these chips. So they'd say gab, g, a, b, gab. So then they use the magnet to get the chips. And that's just a fun and engaging way for students to be practicing so that because you want to practice just like this a bit, but this can get kind of boring and maybe kids will just not want to do it anymore. So this is a way that you can add a little more engagement so that they can reach that mastery they need for the next activity. So once again, they'd go g, ab, gab. Now, the last activity that we're going to do is called tap it, map it, graph it. Now, we are trying to make this as much of a multi-sensory activity as possible because with the previous one, how we added the sound chips and the magnet, we're trying to make students touch it, feel it, hear it. We're trying to do everything we can so that it makes more connections. So with this one, it's called, like I said, tap it, map it, graph it. So we're going to go lab, ab, lab, ab, lab, ab, lab. So we have them practice it 3 different times. We have them tap it with the sound boxes. we have them map it with the sound chips, and then we have them graph it with the graphemes there, with the letters. And each time they're blending it just to get that practice. Now I would probably practice these activities 5 minutes in my small groups, just like a quick hit, and then move on to something else, maybe even 3 minutes. It's up to you with how your small groups are. You can use cards like these. I would make sure to laminate these for my classroom so that students could use like a dry erase marker so that they can erase it right after. But these are really great activities, and once they master this, that's when you would want to go to the advanced phonological awareness, where students would be manipulating the phonemes. Every material that I used in the video, I will link down below in the description if you would like it. I hope this video was helpful in providing activities that you can use in your classroom tomorrow to help students that are struggling in phonological awareness. I will also be making videos that cover activities that you can use for students that are in the early and the advanced phonological awareness levels. So if you're interested in those videos and you don't want to miss them, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. If you thought this video was useful, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.